it.
They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Hello, Avia. Thanks for joining us on Political Platform. It's Thursday, and we are happy that you dare to pick up all the reports we have for you. But the last time we discussed some of the differences. Some say we should not call it a rift. We should not say it's a division, but just some difference. The last time we talked about it amongst the presidential close aides and those he has chosen to help him in the very difficult task of running very critical aspects of his government. They're talking about President Muhammadu Buhari. We talked about some of the differences. They quickly came up with the next day, talking about the Attorney General of the Federation. I quickly came up to say they don't have any difference at all, that they are working in synergy. Everybody, we're all working together. But have you seen the newspapers today and re-echoing what happened yesterday? The Attorney General of the Federation is saying that Mangu, the chairman of the EFCC, is frustrating the anti-graft war. Now, we'll go into it and begin to tell you we didn't make any mistake in realizing and through our investigation that the president needs to call everybody who work with him to the same table. All their hands must be on the same table to be able to get out some work. As it is now, there's a polarity. My major polarization, some division, we can say that, and disagreements amongst those and who are working with the president closely, and the Nigerian Federation will be the worst for it. Now, we'll be going beyond that to let you know some of the other developments within the Nigerian polity. The southern leaders rose from a meeting yesterday to say that they have some reservations about some of the policies and programs of government, and that is why they are indeed not happy with the government. And they listed some of them. Some newspapers have couched it, the 7 sins of Muhammadu Buhari against the South. And they say some of the body language movement, the body language, the way the president handled some of the issues and the pronouncements probably have accentuated some of the problems. I mean, led to some of the problems we have that is we're trying to resolve. Now, we are going to be taking a look at all of this on the program today with a view to finding out the middle ground where all of us can be on the same table with all our hands on the deck to move Nigeria forward, such that we also provide the government the opportunity to hear that there are things that need to be done. Okay, Agbonsuremi here. Adebayo Bodurin is here with me on the platform. Adebayo Bodurin, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Hiria. I think one major development yesterday is it seems as if the Nigeria Labour Congress is waking up. I'm using this word consciously because if you look at the NLC under Hassan Sumanu, it was like a platform for generating ideas and inputs into policy formulation. And the discussions, the conferences then were so robust, and the debate then. And after a long lull, after sleeping for decades, they seem to have woken up yesterday, and they had a conference in Abuja on this issue of restructuring. Okay. And one thing that can be taken away from that conference yesterday was the statement by the Sultan of Sokoto that God did not make a mistake in allowing the country called Nigeria, and that no matter the differences we have, and that is where the takeaway point for me is that we should be able to sit down and dialogue. Right. And like we have always been saying on this program, you cannot run away from dialogue in resolving some of these contentious issues. That is, by the way. The second point on this issue, the rift, or do we call it?
I choose misunderstanding.
Okay. Differences. Okay. Misunderstanding between the Attorney General of the Federation's office and the EFCC. I think it has brought into the fore once again what we have been talking about, that we need, if we don't have to have stumbling blocks in implementing government policies, interagency rivalry must be stamped out, and that is precisely what we are witnessing. Right. There is no way you can have interagency rivalry at whatever level that you can have a hitch-free process of implementing whatever agenda you have for the nation.
Dr. Amechi Amakwe is also on the platform this morning. Amechi, welcome to the program.
Yes, the former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshimele, was booed yesterday at that NLC colloquium when he tried to criticize those agitating for restructuring as opportunities. I've also heard the president of the NLC, Waba, also misinterpret the agenda, saying they are out to disintegrate the country, and it beats my imagination. Someone highly placed will choose to indeed misinterpret a genuine agitation for moves to indeed place Nigeria on a good footing. But talking about the divided presidencies, not just between the AGF, Attorney General, and the acting chairman of the EFCC. If you go to the kitchen cabinet, the inner circle of the president, that deeply divided. If you go to every part, or even look at the cabinet, if you look at the party and those that are aligned to the president, they are divided.
Is it the arenas of the jackals?
No, I begin to ask, if our president, the Lion King, a disciplinarian, an astute gentleman who demonstrated ability, while as military head of state implemented war against indiscipline and whipped everybody into line, up to today, the vestiges of that indoctrination we got there then is still in us. Sometimes you see people killed because of what they inherited during that time. How can he not control his aides? How can he not control his cabinet? And how can he not control his presidency? And if he fails to do all this, how can he now keep Nigeria one? If the president cannot keep his cabinet and inner circle one, how can he keep the country very complex, heterogeneous, with all the sensitivities? How can he achieve that objective? That's the big question I expect them to answer.
It's a very big one, a very big task there, and Uju Eje is also on the platform this morning. Uju, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Ohira. It's such a surprise that men who came to relevance, men who rose to power on the wings of agitations for restructuring, resource control, are not turning around to condemn the very thing that brought them to relevance. At the same time, I commend the Sultan of Sokoto. He has really spoken like a father and, like an elder statesman. We need more like him in this country. And I hope that all the agitators, all the people who are aggrieved will listen to him. And then the authorities would also give everybody, a sense of belonging in the corporate entity called Nigeria.
And the Jomo Simon is also here with us this morning. Jomo, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Ohiri. I'm not surprised when you said they have too many people with different vision, different, the way they see themselves in the Buhari cabinet is so different. That is because too much security, according to the popular saying, breeds conspiracy. Most of them will not want to be found wanting, so they will sit down and carve out their own means of dispensing their own information. That's what is happening.
Okay, so
yes, they want to impress President Muhammadu Buhari in their own ways.
Unfortunately, even if that were to be the situation that they want to impress and work for the president, then they should work in synergy. Let's go to our mailbox, politicalplatform@yahoo.com. But before we go to get you some of your opinion through politicalplatform@yahoo.com, let's take a break.
Bust it.
They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Welcome from that break. Is the mail segment, and I am Etenikan Akepu.
And I'm Ifeanyiwa Nwobi. Welcome.
Right, we're getting started with a reaction to rodents in the president's office, and this is coming from Barrister Chukwuezugo Ugu in Abuja. He says, I knew that the handlers of the president were not creative, but I never knew that it has gotten to the extent that they have lost all ideas to use a funny and annoying excuse of rodents in the president's office to be the reason why the president will work from home. It just comes to the conclusion that some persons take Nigerians for fools that you can sell any dummy to. God help Nigeria.
And on the call for referendum, Alpha Marshal in Abuja says, I write to support the question bordering on the issue of referendum in southeast Nigeria. I believe in the unity of this nation and that every agitation should be looked into and addressed administratively rather than militarily. Just recently, the people of Scotland agitated to pull out of the United Kingdom after so many years in the Union. The then Prime Minister, David Cameron, moved his office and cabinet to Scotland and went from door to door canvassing and appealing to the Scots to vote no in the ensuing referendum on Scotland. In the end, the Scottish people voted to remain with the United Kingdom. President Buhari should come down from his high horse and relocate to the southeast to woo these people into believing in one Nigeria. What you can't achieve by jaw, you will never achieve by war.
And Teken Adagogo from Rivers State writes on the escape of a rapist from police custody. He says the Rivers State Police Command confirmed on Monday that a self-confessed but suspected kidnapper, rapist and body parts dealer had escaped on Saturday night from CID unit's custody, the very day he confessed, having been apprehended by a vigilant group in the morning while disposing his 8-year-old female victim's body. The vigilant deliberately refused the clamor for jungle justice only for the kidnapper to escape from the police custody that same day. We uphold jungle justice so it can be further dissuaded. The IG, AGF and CLO groups should ensure the suspect is apprehended and all officers culpable in the suspect's escape are punished. God bless Nigeria.
Over to the education sector, Henry Ewunon in Garki, Abuja says the recently released cutoff point of 120 for universities and 100 for colleges of education and polytechnics is quite shocking. The real interpretation is that prospective university students who scored 120 over 400 or average of 30 over 100 is in each of the 4 subjects examined can qualify for admission. The analogy is worse for polytechnics and colleges of education. Let the Federal Ministry of Education and other oversighting authorities direct JAMB authorities to rescind this decision, as it is capable of dashing all the hopes, aspirations, and investments made towards improving standards in institutions of higher learning. This decision also portends serious danger to the would-be beneficiaries, as they would one day face stiffer competitions with others.
And that will be it for the mail segment. Keep your mails coming. Send them to politicalplatform@yahoo.com.
Bust it.
They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Thank you so much for remaining with us. And when that information first got to me yesterday about the lowering, 3 days ago actually, lowering of the JAMB scores from 180 to 120 for universities and then 100 for polytechnics and the colleges of education, I said, that is it. That is it. Because I have asked myself severally before, and I didn't really find any nexus between the cutoff points for to enter the unity schools, where somebody who scores a child, a pupil who scores 5 in Zamfara State will gain admission before a child who scores 130 from either Delta or Enugu or any of the southeastern states. I was asking, are they going to the same university when they progress in their secondary school and they get to the last form, right, NECO and JAMB? Are they going to the same university? Now, the lowering, the field has been lowered for everybody, and it's obvious why it is done. There are those who will not score, they cannot score 100 in JAMB. And if they don't score 180 by the old score, it's not possible for them to even seek admission. Most of the universities in the northern part of Nigeria, most of them, federal universities, actually get admission for children after the the remedial programs. So to go and take JAMB is an uphill task. I would dare say on this program this morning that if you have the fund to take your child out of Nigeria, there are a lot incentives to encourage you to take your child out of Nigeria, because you want to look at the educational system. You want to look at what the ASU is talking about. You want to look at the budget for the universities. Look at the research departments. Look at what they do. Look at the entry qualifications. You just tell yourself you are just like getting surprised unnecessarily if you see a graduate from our Nigerian universities today who cannot spell his or her name after graduation, because it starts from the bedrock. It starts from the beginning. There are a lot of things wrong with our educational system, and unless the Federal Ministry of Education, I'm happy that the man who is currently there now is very sincere, forthright. He says, I'm sorry when it is necessary, and he goes ahead with what he wants to do when he believes in it. That he should realize that he has a job to do for Nigeria and assist the president to get our education back to where it should be. We don't have to pretend about anything. Our educational system is down. We cannot have anything out of what we have now and pretend that we'll have a greater future for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think there was a time in this country, interestingly enough, it was during a military regime, and they look at the foreign policy of the government then, and Babangida came up and said, we need to review it, and they organized a summit in Jos, and the fallout of that conference was a new foreign policy was initiated for the country. Even though it's still Afrocentric, at least there were changes to compare with the one we inherited from independence. I think the same thing should be applicable to education. There is the need to sit down and look at our education system and take a total look at it. What informed the establishment of JAMB? It was to enable as many people as possible to gain admission. Because the situation before was that you have as a particular student having admission to almost 7 universities simultaneously. Yes, if you are intelligent child. If you have implemented that policy for a period, there is some of these things need to be reviewed. Some of these things need to be looked into. Our education system, as it is today, cannot guarantee the future growth of this country. So there is a necessity for the Federal Ministry of Education, not just the jamboree of National Council of Education, where the minister and the commissioners will meet and sit down and and dialogue and then come back. Is that we have a committee of experts, sincere experts, who will sit down and take a total look at the kind of education we have. Look at the curriculum on religion and all the rest. It nearly led if it has not been called. People are still debating it. Yes, debating, and it will have led to a serious national crisis. So there is the need for us to review the education system in this country, and all the policies we have must be the plank upon which a new policy will be fashioned.
I think JAMB has outlived its usefulness. It came at a point to solve a problem. Are there other means we can employ to resolve that problem of multiple admission for some person? This happens in other countries such as the United States. We have to think of that. What this new policy will do of 120 is that almost everybody that sat for JAMB will be qualified to be considered for admission. And before you're considered for admission, you have to do a post-JAMB. So those managing our education system are so confused. They will introduce post-JAMB today, tomorrow they will yank it off, the next day they have brought it back.
The minister said it was error.
Now they have brought it back. It tells you that within a space of 2 years, you remove, you bring back, you remove, you bring back. What does it tell of us? We need to really look at. I don't think this policy was well thought of. Someone just based on wheels and cap prices just decided to do it without looking at the wider implication. It tells you that you won't put the hard work in again. I knew how I burned candles to take JAMB for the second time after I was edged out by just 1 mark in my first time. I knew I needed to put in the hard work. If now it's obvious that you can easily make 120, you carry all your books and dump in a cupboard and sleep away.
My heart bleeds at this time, for what is happening in this country. We've been crying that the education standard in this country has fallen so low that our certificates have become almost worthless outside the shores of this country. And then you can say, oh, maybe it's discrimination, but then it's not, because even within the working environment enablement. You see so-called graduates, people with master's degree, they work with you for 5-6 years. They can't even write an ordinary memo without supervision. We've been lamenting the decay in the standard of education, and now they're bringing in this one, even lowering it the more. They forget that the human capital of a nation is the real strength of that nation, because there is nothing you can achieve in a country without the human capital, competent, human capital. And we are wasting all of that. We are lowering everything. We are destroying the future of this country. I think, like Bayo Bodri said, we need a rethink, and we need to revisit this issue so quickly.
I think my own position is simple. Tertiary institutions in Nigeria today are overwhelmed. When you bring down cutoff mark, that's like telling you that everybody, just like what Amici said, those who sat for the JAMB, they will all be called.
No, you have not got it. I wanted to say, really, Dr. Amici says, so I wanted to quickly add that it is just money for the boys. Don't be taking
more money.
Money for the boys. The minister has said that the university should not charge more than 2,000 naira for the post. What it means is that for everybody who has 120, all of them will be asked to come and write JAMB, and they'll pay 2,000 naira. The universities will know that they have chances for late 30. They will ask 5,000 people to come and write the JAMB, and they collect 2,000. Now, this is what is going to be going on. It's just going to create confusion. It's going to create a man who knows, who brought a note for the VC to get admission, because they are qualified, and the post JAMB is internal work of the university, and they decide who passed it and who failed it. So the discretion is now wide. The discretion based on the conclusions of the university. If you make 120 and they use that 120 as the benchmark, they can give the admission ahead of someone that made 300.
But okay, my own question is simple. Our university system is terrible. The structure is not is not good. We know that. The infrastructure terrible. So what are we now increasing the number of people that will come because we want to make money for the boys? That is what I'm saying. What has government done about it? Because our education system is a terrible. And I can assure you, by your budget, the universities will indirectly charge more. If they are not going to charge 2,000, they will find one way or the other.
It's not, the issue is even not charging more or reducing or increasing. The issue is that admission into Nigerian universities, in spite of the falling standard of education, in spite of the plethora of problems they are facing, which has not been resolved, is that it's as worst as those institutions the National Bureau of Statistics painted as havens for corruption.
There is no judiciary. We have to name them.
The admission in Nigerian university is one of the areas where I think we need to focus upon. The level of corruption, the level of bribe taking over admission. I have been a victim, so I can speak on it.
Apart from that, you are asked to bring note from your senator. You are
for admission
finance, and then
so they are just giving room for people within the university system to make money.
Unfortunately, very unfortunately, it is not one of the big problems that we have. When we say big problem, we are talking of insecurity that we have. The government, because I asked Bolaji Abdullahi yesterday when he appeared on my TV program, why the government is not quickly doing some of the things they promise, particularly those ones on the manifesto. He said, look, when a tree falls on top of a tree, it's only wise that you remove the top one first. And then when you have insecurity, the government came in with a part of the country, about how many local government? About 4, 5, 6 local government cut off, occupied by Boko Haram. You don't expect the president to call a conference of Nigerians to come and discuss restructuring. You have to first of all deal with that, and that's where we are now. So education is always going to take the backseat. Is this 7% that we have? There's a recommendation for about 15 or 16.
No, 26.
26. And we are coming down to a percentage that is not manageable,
and it could soon come down to 2%.
When you take a look at the budget we are talking about, when you say 2% of the budget, it's one that is not even the money available for universities education in Nigeria adequately cannot fund 5 federal universities. That is how it is. But we keep on. When Goodluck Jonathan, former president, started establishing all manner of universities because he wanted one for himself, okay, and so he has to establish others for all states that don't have. We're asking, why do we begin to establish subheads, big administration, and when those universities in existence can actually admit. We can have 10 universities in Nigeria that can admit all the students in all the universities in Nigeria today, and they will be good. Why are we dissipating energy?
Look at what is happening in Ghana. Do you know how much Nigerian parents and principals pay as fees to universities in Ghana alone? It runs into billions of dollars. To Ghana, I'm not talking about UK, Canada. I'm not talking about even Benin Republic, Togo, French speaking, where bulk of their universities are dominated by Nigerians. The thing is that we need to begin to ask the federal government to hands off. Nothing concerns Abuja with one university in Katsina, another one in Otoke. If we continue to run it that way, it's inefficiency. We need to allow these universities to evolve as institutions they are. We need to begin to ask parents to pay more. The responsibility of government in education is basic education, which is free in almost every part of the world. After basic education, the government has no business running education institution. If they are doing it, it is just an avenue for corruption. We need to save that money we are taking outside. Even if you pay half of it here, our universities will run and operate efficiently. But before we do that, those in high places that will ask people to make sacrifice to pay more, must also make sacrifices. When we have presidential jets ferrying all manners of people to parties, when we have budgets being wasted by MDAs buying jeeps, we have to start from there. Let them make the sacrifice, and the general citizenry will accept to make sacrifices to pay more for quality education. And
what more can we say? We know that you have your own contribution to make. Some of us went to school here. There are a lot of people who went out there. If you want to play international, as it is now, if you want your child to actually begin to learn in this globalization that we have, that you want your child to play in the international economy in future, you hardly look at the Nigerian university system. Exactly. Because except when they finish, you now send them out to go and bake themselves up with some diplomas and professional qualifications to come back here to come and play a role. That's why many of the people who can afford it, like I said, it's attractive for them to send their children out of Nigeria. And when they graduate, they know that the child has graduated. Unfortunately, our university system, like Adebayo Bodi succinctly put it, cannot guarantee the future of Nigeria as it is today. And we may both to say that unless something is done urgently to look at all the terms of what ASU has said they are demanding for, apart from the selfish ones that we are seeing that they want their pockets lined up, but there are basic, very, very intrinsic, very important ones that they are the factors they have raised over the years that we must take a look at. If we do not, then we have ourselves to blame in future. The much we can take on the program, because our time is up. In another 24 hours, we'll be back. And remember that you can watch us, the program on YouTube, AIT political platform. And those who are in Abuja can watch AIT at 6 p.m. And for those who are outside of Nigeria, AIT International is also beaming this program to you. And if you are always at the habit, or maybe not inside your car, not in your house, your handset, you can listen to Ray Power. You can go to the Play Store and download the app Ray Power, and then you are able all the time on the go to listen to Ray Power, the music, the information, and of course political platform. Okay, I'm going to Remy here.